Hello everyone, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink, and for today's cards, I pulled out my Spellbinders Glimmer hot foil machine. I had promised a while ago that I would do more videos showing this machine and the different hot foil dies. I've slowly been getting more and more of the little hot foil plates and whatnot, and then Spellbinders sent me a few more. So they sent me this thank you one, which I was really happy about because I tried to get it and it sold out before I could order it. And then I also have the butterflies, which I'll get to in a minute. So I've done, like I said, other videos using this, but basically I have the hot foil system. It's plugged in, the plate's in there, it's starting to warm up. When I first place my little hot foil thank you words on there, I can use my fingers, but as soon as they start to heat up, you don't want to like touch this. It gets really hot. So there are tweezers that come with the system. I don't use those very often because I find I'm clumsy with them. So I'll use like my scissors really carefully because you don't want to scratch. It's like a silicone surface. But my Teflon bone folder, that's what I like to use to move things around. So I set the words on there and there's little notches on them so you can line them up and center them perfectly. And then once they're on there, I just have to press the timer button and you can see it flashing there. You wait till it goes solid, just like so. I have my hot foil, like my Glimmer hot foil cut down, and I put that shiny side down or color side down. And then my cardstock. And then I like to do the spacer plate for the Glimmer hot foil, a piece of cardstock as a shim, and then the clear Glimmer hot foil plate. I take it out of the little machine and then run this through my die cutting machine, which is the Spellbinders Platinum 6. And that's it. Really easy. I figured like the more I use it, you kind of get used to like your machine and what works and what doesn't work. And for me, it usually helps to have that little bit of cardstock, just as it gives that tiny little extra bit of pressure. So I've removed the foil. I'm putting the plate back into the machine because I'm going to do more than one card. So, it's funny how scissors and like dies and that there's like a magnet attraction between them. Hence me deciding to just use my Teflon bone folder. It's easier to move things around and the dies aren't attracted to like the metal, etc. So I've lined up, there's two different sentiments that come with that thank you Glimmer set. So I use the second sentiment this time and then I'm just gonna let it sit there and heat up. Now with the foiling, if there's any over foiling, I just like to use my little eraser to remove it. I'll also use a sand eraser if like I've really gotten a good chunk of foil, which I'll show in a minute. So I'm going to repeat this process with my second card front. And I'm starting to find that I prefer just taking the plate out after it's already heated up. The Glimmer hot foil dies are heated up. I put the foil on and then I set this on my little Platinum 6 platform. Then I set the cardstock and the plastic shims, etc., and run it through that way. I just find it's less shifting when I'm like moving this hot plate around. So I make it look a little more involved than it really is because I'm moving the machines like back and forth, back and forth. I don't have enough space. I don't have enough space in my filming area, so I'm like moving them around to film. But when I'm not specifically filming, like when I do like all the butterflies and that, I keep the hot foil machine in one spot, the die cut machine beside it, and then I can just flip back and forth really easily. I'm not moving things around so much. But for the process of filming, I'll keep moving them around. So after I did the two thank you sentiments for my card friends, I'm now using the Glimmering butterflies. So I have those sitting here to heat up. And I'm going to use various different foils with these. For the sentiments, I use like a rose gold foil. And then for the butterflies, I'm going to use rose gold. I'm going to use like this turquoise foil I have. And then this other shimmering foil. They're all from Spellbinders. That's the thing with the hot foil. You need to make sure you're using a foil meant for that because there are different types of foil. Like there's so many things. But with this, I'm kind of just sticking to the one thing because this works. I've been able to get this to work. So I'm doing the exact same process as I did with the other one, just running it through with the foil and the cardstock. With this, because I didn't really cut down the foil like closer to the size of the images. I just use like that larger piece, no biggie. And then because these butterflies are really detailed, I just very lightly go over them with just my regular eraser here. And I'll link to this in the supplies. But that just removes the bits of foil like in the center areas where all the detail was. And it's good to go. I'm going to be die cutting these because these actually come with coordinating wafer dies to cut out the butterfly shape, which is really nice because that's going to save me from having to like do any extra fiddling. And that's also why I ended up doing a whole bunch of these butterflies. I couldn't stop. I did some navy cardstock, I did some gray cardstock, I added some white cardstock, and then just kind of alternated all the different colors of foil and just kept kind of repeating the process over and over again until I had a nice little stack going on. So here I did the turquoise. I overfoiled in the one corner. I'm not too worried about it because again, I'm going to die cut it. But when you get things like that and you want to remove it, if a regular eraser doesn't remove it, I just use my little Tombow mono sand eraser and just very gently go on this. I'm like not going over the actual image and it removes it. I can smooth it out with the eraser. It's good to go. So once I'm done with all the foiling, I can set that aside, unplug it, let it cool off. And then I'm going to start die cutting all of these. So die cutting, same process with any regular wafer die, obviously. You don't do any die cutting on the Glimmer plates or system or anything. Like you just use your regular like Spellbinders plates or whatever die cut machine you're using. So I just run these through with the coordinating wafer dies and die cut all of these butterflies. And I just kept cutting them apart because I had placed the butterflies slightly too close together on the hot foil plates. So it was just a matter of snipping them apart with the scissors on the cardstock there. And then I can use the coordinating wafer dies to cut them all out. So run those through, do all those at once until I have a nice little pile of foiled butterflies. And at the end, I'll show how incredibly reflective these are. These were fun. When I was done, I was like, that's it. And then like doing my supply list, I was like, oh, you know, it's so weird making cards. Like there's no stamps involved. So anyway, I figured out, kind of separated them into two piles here. And then I adhered my backgrounds to white card bases that are top folding A2 card bases. And then I just kind of packed these butterflies all along kind of the tops of these cards using some craft tacky glue. And in the inside of each card, I adhered one more butterfly just to, you know, give the inside a little something. And then I flipped over my card base and just trimmed off all the bits that were hanging over. If you don't like that, I know some people, it's like, oh, how, like it ruins it. You could put it in a larger envelope. I do it because then this fits in an A2 envelope. But if you were hand delivering it or, you know, including it in a gift bag or just put it in a bigger envelope. But I don't know what it is. There's something I like the look a lot when I do cut off those edges. It just kind of cleans it up a bit. So I'm okay with it. Cut them all off. So now everything will fit nicely in A2 envelopes. And of course I have to add just a final little bit of bling as if these aren't going to be blingy enough, but I'm going to add just a little bit more. So I've got some confetti here in a rose gold shade and a sort of clear iridescent sort of shade from Studio Katia. So I kind of sprinkled these throughout the card. And then I'm going to adhere them into place with some craft tacky glue. Just picking them up with my jewel picker and then pressing them into place. And then once I've got all of the confetti adhered, these cards are complete. So as always, I'll have a link below the video to my blog post. I'll have a supply list. I'll link to all the supplies used. You can check that out below if you are interested. I'll also link to the other videos I've done so far using other Glimmer hot foil, fun wafer dies and whatnot. So here you can see just how reflective this sort of stuff drives my camera nuts. I had a really hard time as usual taking pictures because it just reflects, you know, all the light. So anywho, these were a lot of fun to make. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And as always, thank you all so much for watching, for subscribing, for thumbs upping, commenting. I really, really appreciate it. And I will see you all very soon in the next video. Bye.